Ceann Comhairle. Ceann Comhairle, only a few short weeks ago I signed the role of the 33rd Dáil as a newly elected TD. The clerk of the Dáil at the time was gracious enough to guide me through some of the historical registers that date back to the earliest days of the state. Looking then at the role of the second Dáil, which had only sit for a few months as the War of Independence gave way to the Civil War, I thought then how different that troubled time was from the context of our own election. How much has happened in the intervening weeks, and our world and country stand much changed, with much change to come. Indeed, the first Dáil convened when the spectre of another global pandemic, the Spanish flu, still stalked the continent. On its first sitting in January 1919, only 27 members sat in the Mansion House. Many who did not attend were recorded as Yebert, banished, or Fui Glas, imprisoned. There's a strange echo of that history as I look around this Dáil chamber, where only a fraction of our number may attend. But at Ceann Comhairle, in examining the legislation before this House today, I revert back, as did that first Dáil, to an even earlier document and a cornerstone of our nation, the Proclamation of the Republic, and the oft-quoted commitment given therein, cherishing all the children of the nation equally. Ceann Comhairle, I have always chosen to interpret that phrase in its widest possible sense, to understand that all here in this country may be thought of as children of the nation. I wish to commend Minister Doherty and those in her department on the work they have done in these difficult times and the measures they have introduced to help those suffering the economic shock attendant with this health emergency. The bill before the Dáil this evening is a well-thought-out and well-crafted response to the crisis that has been thrust upon us. What few amendments we have proposed, we have made with a view to strengthening the legislation rather than finding fault. However, I do not see all the children of the nation represented here. I do not see workers on short-term visas here, many of whom are frontline healthcare workers who worry now about their legal status in this country, even as they combat the spread of the virus in our communities. I do not see undocumented workers here, people who through circumstance stand wide open to exploitation and risk. Without reassurances from government, these workers may not feel that they can present for treatment or that they can self-isolate from work. Without these reassurances, these vulnerable people may expose themselves to risk and may also become a reservoir of the virus, mostly inaccessible to the state. I do not see our renters here, people worried about losing the roofs over their head. We need a moratorium on evictions during this crisis. I do not see our homeless here, or our traveller population, or our prisoners, or those in direct provision, people who, by dint of circumstance, may not be able to practice social distancing or cocooning. These are some of the most vulnerable in our society. These are people I choose to understand in my interpretation of all the children of the nation. At a time of crisis, we must cherish these people too. At Ceann Comhairle, there are words and phrases in our native Gaeilge that resist strict translation into English, expressions that are distillation of an mion agana tá gine mar Éireann. Dígris is one such word, a kindred feeling, a zealousness emanating from a sense of place and community that is finding expression now in our social solidarity and in the selfless commitment of our frontline services. It is the now 30,000 people who have answered the call to be on call for Ireland. It is an expression of our best selves, our ability to cope in crisis as a community. And one of our best known phrases and most used phrases is our Scóla Chéile Bharn na Díne. We live on each other's shadow. At Ceann Comhairle, I stand in the shadow of many today, department officials who have reacted quickly to frame supports, medical advisors who have worked day and night to design a response to the impending surge, frontline staff from doctors and nurses to drivers and shop workers. I stand in the shadow too of my fellow citizen. We've all been asked to do things we would scarce have thought possible a fortnight ago. We in the Green Party stand ready to play our part in this national effort to fight a common foe. We are in this together. Ní neart go cur le chéile.